Well, hello, hello, hello. So, now you see me. I see you. It only takes a few years. I'm recording using my phone, so hopefully I don't take too much time here. But first of all, now you know that the stuff on the back of my walls are not some billboard with some kind of a notes. It's just, when I was having time, I draw mangas, so that's what I do. Those are my works. Anyways, so today I want to talk a little bit about myself and a lot about Street Fighter Five and how the first season, how my initial feelings experience about the game when it first came out, and how I transitioned into the second season and so on and so forth. Anyways, so I mean because I want to talk about this because I feel like I'm kind of the player that Capcom wants to play the game because like they want to involve more casual players, right? Like I play the game. I'm not hardcore. I'm a big fighting game fan. I've been playing it for a long time, but I only play it maybe every 4 days, so not a whole lot. Um, but when I play, I want to have fun, right? So every 4 days, play a few hours, so it better be worth my time. Um, but also, I'm not completely a newbie, right? I played, the game since Street Fighter 2, and I'm at like Ultra Silver level now if you want to talk about points, but really, I beat Super Gold and Gold players all the time. So I think I'm about at that level. I wouldn't say that I'm more than that level though, but so. I believe in that case, I'm not a newbie, but I'm also not a hardcore player. So that I'm like that kind of a um, casual audience that the Capcom really want me to play, right? If I want to play how many 4 days, every 4 days, then like how can they keep me playing rather than dropping it? But anyway, so a little bit about my background. Like I said, I played it since the Street Fighter 2 days, and I was like, what? I was a little kid. Elementary school. But yeah, I played Street Fighter 2, 3 Alpha, Third Strike, Street Fighter 4, all series, Street Fighter 5. Other fighting game I play like Tekken 4, 5, 6, Killer Instinct, Mortal Kombat, I guess at least 8, 9, and XL. I play Guilty Gear, Exert, Skullgirls, and all these kind of things. And when I play fighting games, I understand that too many username. Awesome guy. Um, he likes to play what? You like to play low tier characters that you can enjoy and beating other people. Um, I'm similar. I don't like people who ride high tiers. Tier horse, no. But I'm not a big fan of writing low tier characters as well. I have my own preference. When I play a fighting game, I pick characters based on their attributes. So physical, spiritual, moral, or game plans. And specifically, what I'm looking for if I want to play a character, they have to be like they preferably be a bad guys, like evil guys and antagonist. I want them to be a big bulky dude. Like, hey, I'm not a sexist, but I like to fight as a big bulky dude. I don't like to fight as a female fighter. That's what it is. I also like beast or beastie man, or and also people who are cool, who are look really badass. In terms of their game plan, though, I want this character to have very, very good mix up heavy and gimmicky kind of a game plan, but also can deal good damage. And preferably, if you know me well, I like to play charge characters. I guess match my playing style well. I don't like motions. So the characters I don't like to play, of course, the protagonists like Ryu, or like these so bad guy, like the main characters. I don't like them. Lame, boring, whatever you want to call it. I don't like characters that rely on fireballs, shotos, boring flowchart kind of a style, and as I mentioned before, female fighters. So in Street Fighter 2, I kind of picked what, like I was playing Bison and Blanca. Those are my two. It fits my bill really well. Hey, what I was just described. I like Blanca a lot. Bison, I think he's badass. Street Fighter 3 Alpha, I played Blanca as well, and I picked up Cody. I thought Cody was really badass. You know, he was like one of those guys like, oh, I don't care, I'm gonna beat you up and move on to the next guy. I really love him. Of course, I played Final Fight as well, but Street Fighter 3 Strike though, you know, like they overhauled the entire roster. Like I don't have anybody like I feel like I'm interested to play. So I picked up a new character. I chose Remy because I felt like, you know, he has a rather sad but interesting story, and also I like him. I just like him. I had fun playing him. I played a little bit of Urian too, but not very good. But up until this point, though, I you know, again, same as you. I was you know, more playing offline against computers. Rarely am I playing against other players, and that it's the Street Fighter 4 when it first came out. I really started to play online, and it really changed my perspective for the games. And of course, if you know my other videos, I play mainly Blanca in Street Fighter 4. I love it because I was like, oh, my boy Blanca came back. He's a beast. He's you know, like he's heavily mix-up heavy kind of a character. I love him. And I also played other, you know, charged characters, Bison, Honda, Balrog, right? I had fun with those characters. And then, you know, when they have, the arcade edition or something like that, Super Street Fighter 4, sorry about that, yeah. I picked up Cody, right? And Cody was like, oh, my boy Cody's back, I'm gonna play him. And it's fun, I love him. And then Adon as well. I think Adon is just like, he's so arrogant, right? He's like, oh, it's always like beating you up and things like that. So I like Adon. And then when the new, I guess the final version of Ultra Street Fighter 4 came out, the only character that was really interesting, well, Hugo maybe, is the Capri. I always like to play Cammy, but you know, Cammy is like, you know, the female, and it's not. It's a DP. It's I don't like to play that kind of character. But when the Capri came out, I was like, oh yeah, now I have a charged Cammy that I can play, which is pretty awesome. I love her mix-up as well. Anyways, for other games though, who I play, well, Tekken, I played mainly King and Marduk for a long time, since Tekken 4. But you know, in the last version, I guess Tekken 6, I played Alisa and Asuka, because I think they're fun. I mean, see, so I do play female characters. For Guilty Gear, I mainly play Jam because I feel like she's quite cool character. You know, she has a pretty simple game plan, but can be explosive. I also play Raven. Raven really reminds me about Bison in Street Fighter 5 because he's slow, like he's walking so slow, but his dash is like this kind of a teleporty dash, and it's really remind me about Bison. And he has good combos. He has, you know, reset with command grabs into big damage. I like him. Mortal Kombat. I like to play. I think the only character that I played is Kung Lao. I don't play Mortal Kombat that much, but when I play, I only play Kung Lao. I just feel like he's kind of the guy. I look at the roster, I'm like, okay, this is the guy I want to play. Somehow, and I just stick to him. I didn't really play any other characters. Tempest, if you wonder what kind of variation I play. Tempest, Kung Lao. Skullgirls, I mainly play Big Band and Cerebella. Okay, so that's my character choices. Alright, so let's just move on to the main topic here, Street Fighter 5. In case you guys don't know, Street Fighter 5 launched on, I believe, February 16th of 2016. So literally, I mean, a few days ago, it was the 1-year anniversary of this game launching. And I know, like, if you follow the FGC closely, you know, like, everybody is having, you know, a lot of criticism about this game. And, you know, like, people talking about, you know, how it's the initial launching is very rocky and things like that. I mean, you know, for me, yes, when the game first came out, I was expecting, although I don't really care, I was expecting it to have a arcade mode. I was like, well, you know, because Street Fighter 4 had one, right? So I was like, oh, interesting, they don't have an arcade mode, but they have a story mode that's sort of similar to the idea, right? Um, but yeah, so I feel like, oh, okay. So I was more into the game mechanism, like what are the different kind of fighting mechanism that introduced in this game. So V gauge, like obviously it replaces the ultra meter from the Street Fighter 4 days, but you know I feel like it's really like like this is V gauge. It's something that really defines the character, right? I mean, you have 2 bar versus 3 bar V gauge. Your game plan is totally different. If you have 2 bars, you would like maybe like Nash, you want to use it twice, right, in one round. Whereas 3 bar, you want to maybe manage your bar low bed. If you want to use it as a reversal, then you're gonna delay your V trigger, or it may not even come out. And if you are a character that heavily relies on V trigger to deal heavy damages like Borog or Urien, I don't know. I can only speak for my own character, so and it's like that, right? So like it's important for V gauge, and you can only build V gauge by taking damage and using your V skills or successfully landing them, right? So that's the V system, really. I feel like it's an interesting move by Capcom, and it definitely changes your game plan a lot, and it really tied into how strong the character is. Imagine if Urien has a 2 bar V gauge, right? And in terms of Crash Counter, I really like this one. Because I'm tired of people mashing DPs, and now I can pick a character that I can punish with the DP really hard. In fact, all my 4 characters, which I'll talk about a little bit later, they punish hard. Super Chip, yeah, Super Chip, I like it. I like the idea of Super Chip. I feel like it used to be like you're down to your last little pixel, and you have to worry about all these kind of chip setups, right? I can do a double hop Blanca and into a up ball and then chip. Now you can't do that anymore, right? You have to use your whole bar, which is totally makes sense. I feel like it's a risk and reward thing. If you want to spend your whole bar to guarantee a round of victory, it's about right. Game interface. I feel like let's talk a little bit about I feel like of course they twitched it a few times, right? When it first came out, it's a bit weird, and then all the the matches is kind of hard to find even the options and everything. Now it's a bit better. It's kind of they show it's easier to navigate around the game, the main page, and try to find your match and whatever. But let's talk a little bit about match wait time. I think it's still pretty bad. I don't really like it. And the thing is, you can set yourself to training mode and wait for a player to match with you, right? Whether you want to play rank or you play casual. The problem is, you absolutely have to set the training stage to the training stage, because everything else, like every stage loads differently. Stage that has a lot of stuff, like the beach stage or whatever, they take forever to load. And every time, someone match with you, you play the match, you want to go back to training mode, right? After that, it takes forever to load. It's like literally a minute or something. It's so ridiculous. So even if you set it for training mode, it still takes a while. So I was like, I thought I was like, it's still pretty slow right now. That's the part I really don't like. I feel like they could do a lot better on how to reduce this waiting time. In terms of waiting for your opponent, though, right? Whether it's ranked or casual, if you're willing to set your bar, where I'm living right now, I'm here in BC, Canada, right? Where if you want to set your bar to, let's say, 3 bars, 3 to 5 bars, 3 to 5 bars, you wait on average maybe about, I would say 2 minutes, 1 to 2 minutes you'll get a match. So it's not too bad, but like again, it's I wish they could do a little bit better. But the problem is sometimes like they appear like to be it's like a 4 bar or something, and someone from Mexico or like Ecuador, the Dominican Republic, certain countries, like it lags. It feels like the game really feels like it's like a 1 bar or 2 bar match, but like it somehow shows that it's a 3 or 4 bars, so it's annoying. So the only way to prevent that, you set if you only like 5 bars only, then the problem is a bit better. But again, if you set it for 5 bars only, or even 4 to 5 bars for your opponent, then it takes like double the time at least for you to match with anybody, and I don't have that much time to wait. Like I said, I only play every 4 days. I want it to be efficient. So that's something I feel like Capcom can do a little bit better about that. Presetting your characters, yeah, you can preset it. The problem is like you can set, you can set your title, your favorite stage, your favorite character, and their costume. Which is, I think they want to kind of speed up the match a little bit so that you don't have to go into like the character select every time like they did in Street Fighter 4. But I feel like it's really hard to evaluate how good a player is like from CFN, the Capcom Fighters Network, which is like one of the options on the game interface. You can go in there to check your replays and to check your the overall global leaderboard and find rival matches and things like that. It's hard to like if you want to search for a player, right? They may show that this player is like a Ryu player, but like he could have just been practicing Ryu at this moment, so he set for Ryu, but he could actually be a Kami player. You wouldn't know. So I feel like when they're doing all these statistics about like how good each character is, if they want to use this online data, it's not very reliable, right? You're like, okay, so top 10, there's what? How many people? Top 100 or whatever, top 1,000. But the guy may not necessarily be using his own characters at this moment when you collect the data, so it's kind of I don't like it. I mean, presetting your character, I guess it makes things a little bit faster. It's great, but overall the waiting time is still quite low. Legs, yes, I can feel the legs. Whether it's 8th frame or now it's 6th frame, 6.5, whatever. Yes, and especially, see, here's the thing, right? Like, so when you're trying to complete a tight combo, or you're trying to back in the day when standing jab is pretty lenient, then you can use that. Like for example, Nakali standing jab, you can stick it out and they'll hit. Now, like because they reduced the hitbox, right? You have to really stick it out like at the right time, which makes it really hard with the 6th frame input lag. Faster moves a little bit better, and it's hard to time your media as well. You really have to account into the delay. So you're running into a habit where you do this a bit early than your move a bit early than what you're supposed to. But when you play offline, then it's kind of a bit of a throw you a little bit off, I feel like. For someone like Bison, for example, he's anti-air is the crouch fears. It's 10 frames. It's way too slow. So if you count into those 6.5 frame input lag, it's really hard to anti-air with him. Like if you're late for just a little bit, you get a trade instead of a clean anti-air, which is stupid. That's the whole reason why they speed up Urian's elbow in the 2nd season, because it's so hard to react online to do this kind of 10 frame or 12 frame anti-airs. Like it's impossible. It really. So I feel like in terms of the input lag, it affects 3 parts, right? You're trying to complete your combos. It's hard, so a lot of time you can't really hit confirm. Rather, you have to use like V trigger confirm, so it'll give you a lot of time. Also, it affects anti-air moves, especially slower anti-air moves. And also, I guess sometimes it's your media timing. So it's a bit off. I can definitely feel it, it's not too bad nowadays because I feel like because I played the game for so long that I adapt to it. Really, I just take it as part of the game. But when I play offline, definitely I'll feel a difference. So you'll see about that. Yeah, so that's what I want to say about generally the game in terms of the game. The graphic is it's okay, it's pretty good. I mean, some of the hairs is ridiculous. I don't like it. Those blonde characters, I think is kind of stupid, like Ken and Alex. Yeah, I'm not gonna repeat a lot of things that you said already on your video. So I just want to maybe focus on a little bit more about my characters and how I feel like they're different, or my experience with my characters. So in case you don't know, I play 4 characters. I consider myself still a Bison player. However, I feel like I'm transitioning into Balrog. But so yeah, I play Bison, Balrog, Necalli, and Urien. When the game first came out, I chose Rashid because I felt like he was speedster and kind of a maybe can be quite similar to the Blanca's game. No, it didn't really work out. No, not even close. So first of all, Rashid is not a charge character, so that alone gave me a bit of a trouble to start with, and with the input lag and whatnot, it doesn't really help. And he has no damage output. At least now in season 2 he's a lot better, but like season 1, he sucks. Like he just doesn't have the damage potential. I would do a sweet setup or whatever, and it didn't do any damage. And it took me two blows from Ryu and I'm dead. So it didn't work out. I at that time I picked Bison as my secondary, right? I was like, oh, it's good. And I thought, he's a cool guy. He moves very slow. He still moves very slow, but he has some cool V-trigger setups, and I really like that part. So, and then when I dropped Rashid, really, so I mainly just played Bison for a long time until I feel like, oh, here's Necalli. And Necalli is like, he has a charge move, right? And he's kind of a badass guy. He's a big, bulky dude, so it fits my bill. And I feel sorry for him because when I played the story mode, he just, every time he came out, he basically got beaten by a random warrior and then he dissolved into a whole bunch of mud. Imagine how shitty that is, eh? So I want to play him. I mean, he's fun. Imagine like he has this V-trigger that lasts forever, and you have all these really nice properties of your moves after your V-trigger. So I like it. I like it a lot. But he's never like because in season 1 he's considered one of the better higher tier characters, right? My other 3 characters ass at that time at least. So I don't want to play him so much because he's actually pretty good. Like he has this steady jab which not everybody has, and he has a DP. He got command grab. He got overhead. He got pressure with your stumps. He got meaty setups, super easy to set up, like forward throw and then double dash into low forward. That's a true meaty. You can't do anything about it. You have to block, otherwise you get hit, and then you can hit confirm into stump into super. So it's like he's a really really good character. But now you have to do a little bit more. You have to do double dash, standing light kick into hit confirm into counter head into a standing medium kick and so on and so forth. But yeah, so that's that. And when the DLC comes out, I chose Balrog because I feel like I was playing him in Street Fighter 4 and I want to give him a spin. He wasn't that good either. Let's put it that way. Everybody thinks Zangief sucks, and Balrog is Zangief's best matchup. So that tells you a little bit about Balrog. But hey, I like him. I felt like they did a pretty good change to Balrog. They give him a kick, which is awesome, and it's actually his party starter, right? It's if you do enough overhead, they will not block low, and you can empty spin in there and do this low double kick, V-trigger into gigantic damage, which is awesome. So even though he was low tier in season 1, I stick with him. I felt like he deserved my attention. Whereas Bison, I feel like he's low tier as well. I just like him because he's the the top guy of the evil side. So of course I will play him if you know me. And he's cool. He has this. They got rid of his standing roundhouse from Street Fighter 4, but they gave him this crash counter standing roundhouse, which is pretty good. And yeah, so it can cancel the big damage. It you get a lot of use of it. You can like dash in with the teleport dash. So that avoid one attack, and on their recovery you can use roundhouse to counter hit them. So it's I like them. Yeah, and then with the last DLC character is Urien. I felt like I wanted to really learn him because I played him a little bit in Street Fighter 3 Third Strike. Never really paid attention to him. But I felt like now, like the Aegis, its reflector setup is so different now. I really like the new change. I feel like it gives the player a little bit more room, more creativity to do what you want to do. Right? Are you gonna sacrifice two mirrors to do a whole bunch of damage, or you want to use the two mirrors separately to set up some pressure, especially in the corner, trying to corner them and use the mirror to shut them out, and then get in there with Urien's good normals. To pressure them. So I felt like it's good. But the reason he was low tier, right? Like I mentioned, that crouch fierce, it was so slow. Like it would be beaten up by like anybody's jump attack because you just can't react to it. By the time you react or you press it, you're delayed by another 6.5 frames. You got hit, and then this game you don't want to get jumped in now like straight up by like a heavy kick or heavy punch. It leads to so much damage. And if they have V-trigger, they can V-trigger for more damage. It's crazy. So yeah, that's Urien. But I felt like I had fun with them. You have to kind of space out yourself a little bit, use more of that forward medium punch to anti-air. But yeah, so that's kind of how I feel about this game for season 1. I felt like overall they make certain characters way too strong. Like Nash. Nash must die, by the way. I hate Nash. Nash sucks. Why do they create a character that is like, they can use that 8-on kick and it's like instant recovery. There's no delay. You can grab someone right away or dash out with the supreme dash. His dash is super fast and super far. Like, it makes no sense that he can do that. I don't know why. Like, there's no recovery on that. Like, it's just stupid. Like, it's a special move. And it's plus on block, so you're forced to guess, basically, what you want to do, right? If you press a button, he could crash counter you. But if you stay there, he could walk up and dash up and throw you, or things like, or do overhead. It's ridiculous. I'm okay with him manipulating other people's, like, their super gauge or whatever. That's fine, but it's stupid to make them move such a like no recovery, and to me that's way too OP. Ryu was a lot of people playing Ryu. I hate Ryu. I think it's the only boring people plays Ryu. Ryu is just such a boring character. It's just like it's so boring. Like it has nothing there. I feel like Ryu is like a typical like introduce you to Capcom game kind of a character, right? It's really, hey, here, learn Fireball and learn a DP and now please move on to the other characters. Like Ryu's just it's so boring. I don't understand why people like to play Ryu. It's bizarre to me. I'd rather play someone who's fun, right? So I'm very happy that in season 2. Both of these characters got nerfed to the ground. I think they need more nerf, though. Personally, I want them to get Nash's that 8-on kick to be -2 at least. I want that at least because it's ridiculous still. Right. So really, that's how I feel. But I'm gonna talk a little bit more about each characters that I played, the experience with the characters and matchup and things like that. So for Bison, his game for me though, like there's a lot of way to play the characters, which I feel great. Like in Street Fighter 4, that's one of the I guess one of the good things about that game is like you take one character, you can play it so many different ways. And in Street Fighter Five, I don't think not so much, but you can still kind of build in your characters with the game. Like for Bison, for example, a lot of people play it differently, right? I play it more like chip games. I would like to set up a lot of chips to irritate my opponent, right? With the loops for my scissor kicks, and then occasionally go to the air to use my plus moves like the EX stump or EX Devil's Reverse to set up more like meaty um, on my way down, or I can just land behind them and do a throw and things like that. And Bison's game, it's I would say I would very reluctant to use my V gauge for V reversal because it's a big comeback factor for Bison if you activate that V trigger, and you have a lot way to activate your V triggers, right? From afar, you can do a slide. So I felt like you do need to use your V gauge, and it was good. It was good. I feel like Bison is fun. He's fun to play. You know, he's not strong, but and his moves are slow. He walks like super slow. His grab range is ridiculous, which is awesome. But because he's slow speed, it's really hard to do a low crouch slide kick and walk up grab because it's too slow. So that's really not really helping. I think his best buttons are like like his crash counter, roundhouse, his command normal, the down forward fears. So he's someone that you can't just play like rush down. Well, you can, I guess, but you have to kind of bait things out and try to punish really hard. So you gotta know when to stick the button, when not to, when to go into the air to intimidate them, and when to not, when to kind of stay in the ground and just use your scissor chip to advance forward. Right? So they got rid of his Psycho Crusher, which whatever. I'm okay with the Psycho Blast. Actually, I feel like the EX Psycho Blast, the one that the ball right now that travels the entire screen. It used to be not like that in season one, but now it is. It's a great tool. It's slow down the pace, and you actually have time to dash forward, hold down, see if they jump. If they jump, you can crouch fears them, despite how slow that move is. Or you can dash forward and then see if they're in the air. If they're neutral jump in the air, then you can do your double hell attack. That's what I call it, air medium punch. But if you only hit them once, they will land still on the slow fireball, which you can juggle with like your stored fireballs actually. So it's kind of cool. He has a lot of stuff that I still want to experiment for sure. Balrog, I felt like Balrog. He's a pretty explosive character, and in season one, of course, he